Hello, everyone. Rob Goslin here, Director of Space. Welcome to our highlight reel, where we share some of our upcoming classes with you. These are just a few of the amazing modules we offer each month in Space. If you are interested in more information to enroll or to vote on these courses, please check the individual links below. We look forward to seeing you in Space.
I'm Jack Schabert, and I'm very excited to be launching a brand new course at Signum University. The course is entitled The Music of Middle-earth, and sessions will be held online and registration is open to the public. No prior musical knowledge or experience is necessary. We'll simply be looking into the music that has been inspired by the work of Professor Tolkien. We'll be exploring music that's been composed for television and film adaptation of Tolkien's work that's taken Tolkien's poetry and set it to music, and music that's simply been inspired by the stories and mythology. You can get involved through the Signum University Space Program. Sessions will be held twice a week for 4 weeks. There's no strenuous homework involved, simply listening closely to music and coming ready to explore how music can tell stories. I hope you'll join us for the music of Middle-earth.
And I remember picking up a paper and actually I nearly gave an extra mark for it, extra 5 marks actually. There was one page on this particular paper was left blank. Glorious. Nothing to read. So I scribbled on it, I can't think why. In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit.
You may be familiar with the origins of the Hobbit, but have you ever wondered how Tolkien went on to craft the story? Well, in John Ratliff's The History of the Hobbit, we can read those early drafts where Gandalf was called Bladorthin and Thorin was called Gandalf. We can read about when Gollum actually helped Bilbo, and it was Bilbo that killed the dragon himself. We can also read the changes that Tolkien made to make the Hobbit fit in better with the story of the Lord of the Rings, and even his aborted attempts to change the style of the Hobbit later on. I'm thrilled to be teaching a series of classes called A Journey Through the History of the Hobbit. Now, this is a fairly big book, so we're actually splitting it into 3 separate modules. The hope is that together we'll get a better understanding of how The Hobbit was crafted and gain a new appreciation for the story that, in many respects, started it all. I hope you'll join me.
Hi, I'm Julian, and I'm here to welcome you to my Harry Potter book club. We'll get together twice a week to read through the series at a pretty relaxed pace, following Harry's adventures as he battles the evil Lord Voldemort, masters the ways of magic, and discovers his destiny. We'll spend 1 month on each of the first 3 books, and then 2 months each on books 4 to 7. This book club is all about sharing the moments of unexpected, joyful discovery through close reading. Sometimes that means simply geeking out over our favorite parts. Sometimes that means discussing aspects that we find problematic. And that's fine, so long as we do it in a kindness-first way, showing respect for one another. My book club is a safe, supportive, welcoming environment which has no place for bigotry. I'd love to talk about historical and mythological allusions in the series, unpack themes like friendship, heroism, good versus evil, and tackle big questions about our relationship with the text. What was it about the Harry Potter books that resonated with so many people? To what extent is it possible, or indeed desirable, to separate art from artist? To what extent does a story belong to its readers? But most of all, I'd love for folks to share their own experiences as we go on the journey together. It'll be so much fun. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in space.
Hi, I'm Shawn Gaffney, and I am offering a course called Weird Languages. Weird Languages focuses on some of the aspects of language that typically get neglected when we study languages like English, Spanish, Chinese, Japanese. This is because those languages don't contain the features that many of the world's languages do. This includes things like letting you know where the information came from when you made a statement. If you say it's raining out, there are languages that require you to include in the sentence where that information came from. It's a grammatical necessity. This also includes languages that have more than what we think of as a traditional gender distinction in the grammar, a masculine, feminine, and neuter. There are languages that have up to 20 of these gendered categories. It also includes verbs that require you to include information about the shape of the object that you're talking about. Or, unlike, say, Spanish, German, languages that require verb agreement with the object in a sentence. So if you say, I saw Mary, Mary is what sort of connects to the verb in a different way than we're used to. So please join me if you want to talk about a number of different features that some of the world's languages have. In fact, many of the world's languages have these features. So yeah, come join me.
Hello, my name is Isaac Schendel, and I'm an instructor for Old English, Modern German, and Middle High German with Signum University's SPACE program. I'm offering a series of modules dedicated to Middle High German, a medieval language with a rich literature full of heroic epics, romances, courtly poetry, and other works. This course is a great opportunity to become familiar with an important Germanic language with a rich, vibrant culture. One special thing about this module is that no experience with modern German is required. I have taught this series on Middle High German several times, and I can attest that we have brought in students with absolutely no German and taught them how to read Middle High German competently and confidently. So whether you speak German fluently, know a little high school or college German, or are completely unfamiliar with the language, you are encouraged to attend and experience one of the largest canons of medieval writing. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you in space.
Hello, I'm Shawn. I am an instructor with Signum University's SPACE program. I'm here to introduce you to our module on Egyptian hieroglyphs. In the first module, we will practice recognizing and reading the hieroglyphs. You will have a better understanding of how they work, what are the things that are true about hieroglyphs, and what are the things that you've heard that might not be true. And you will be prepared to read names and put your own name into hieroglyphs. After that, we'll work on materials that you will see in museums and how to read and understand some of the more common texts. The benefit of taking a class on hieroglyphs and not just studying directly from the book by yourself is that you have people to work with, and you can ask questions and get feedback about what you're doing, what methods work and what maybe don't work as well. So I hope that you decide to take the hieroglyph class, and I look forward to seeing you. Thank you.
Heyo Yazund. Old English, or one Old English phrase for hello, be well, be sound. So I'm here to talk about for a moment the wonders of learning Old English. And telling you, a little of my experience was way back when I was in college, these many, many centuries ago. I was taking a linguistics course, and that's where I got introduced to Old English, studying the history of the English language, and I had just begun to find out who this Tolkien guy was, and the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, and how much the language that was Old English and the languages, or some of the languages that are in the Lord of the Rings, resonate with one another, and I got just terribly excited. So I undertook the study of Old English, and here we are. And all these years later, I still love it. So let me introduce to you a series, an ongoing series, of advanced readings in Old English, and advanced simply because we're not using a beginner's textbook or anything like that, but sitting down with a text or part of a text each module to read Old English. And for many of us, including myself, this also means looking up a lot of vocabulary from time to time. But the idea is to familiarize ourselves and read what is available in Old English. And so sometimes we read some things that are really well known and are typical in an Old English class at a university or college. Things like Beowulf or the Wanderer from the poetic tradition. But we also read things from the prose tradition. And so we've read Apollonius of Tyre, and we'll probably revisit that text at some point. We've read some homilies, and we've read some other prose texts. And there's many more that we haven't. We haven't really delved much into law codes or charters or the medical books or anything like that. But, right, there's a lot to choose from. And so each month, each individual module, alternating between poetry and prose, we take on a new text and see how far we get. There is no rush. There's no need to rush. So we go at the pace of the class wants to go at, and we can stop and pause and ponder things and what this word means or what this context means or what is making sense and all those kinds of things. So it is a really, really good time, and we have some really great people, and I invite you to join us. So Godna Dai, good day.
Hi, I'm Sparrow. Sometimes I want to get away with my journal and my pretty colored gel pens for more than a precious half hour. Welcome to Writing Retreat. It's a weekend from about 6 p.m. Friday evening, that's Eastern Time, until late afternoon Sunday, during which we meet for focused discussion, community building, questions, not many answers, but that's okay, plus writing time and informal conversation time. I literally want you to move into someone's guest room for a weekend, to make all your meals ahead and make them so easy. I want to write stories or poetry or prayers or promises. I want to have that quiet, introspective writing. Sometimes it brings tears. Sometimes there's grief that we just have to write through. Sometimes there are old stories we want to preserve. Sometimes there are old stories that we want to change. Weekend Retreat is all about creating a community where it is safe to do this work of writing, where your friends will hold you gently with your story, with your song, with your poem, with your memoir. And you know what? No results are expected. Just whatever you need to put on the page. And this is my absolute honor to share with you. There's the button. I have trouble finding the button.